I have a really special video for you today because it's an amazing experiment that, if it works, and if I'm doing this video it means that it worked, so now I'm presenting it to you, is gonna give you an extended season to grow as many tomatoes as possible in a small garden like I have basically here. My entire garden is 1/5 of an acre, but I cannot use all of it for growing just because it's not good enough. So what I'm going to be doing really quickly, so you know what I'm doing, these are my tomato suckers. So my plants are already established and I've planted them in the beginning of May, and each time I go and I prune them, I take the suckers and instead of throwing them away or composting them, I uproot them or root them up in water and then I transplant them in soil. So I'll check this video here, whatever checking is going to be, maybe here, and you see exactly what I'm talking about, so I don't make this segment too long about that. But so this is just one batch of suckers, and there's some more over there on the ground because they just didn't fit on this table. And also there's this big guy which I've left to grow like this. What is this? 1/2 meter, 60 centimeters, 2 foot, and now it's starting to make roots here, here, and here. So this is just straight away a mature plant. But again, watch that video for more details on how to work with suckers and not make them the most hated thing in the garden, but one of the most loved. What I want to do basically, because this is the whole point of this video, is to plant tomato seedlings that are either medium size or this small now. And now is 22nd of July. You can see here, you know, I didn't have the, hopefully you can see it, Friday 22nd of July. I didn't have that newspaper date and thingy from ransom movies, but I'm trying to plant at the end of July baby tomatoes basically, and still get a harvest until the end of the season, which is not that far away. To help me with that, I'm gonna use rabbit manure, like a handful of rabbit manure, and also some composted or 80% composted wood chips that I have from last year's prunings of the garden, especially the apple trees, cherry trees, and so on, fruit trees and berry bushes. And I'm gonna plant everything in the only space that I have available now, which is my garlic plantation. And the reason why I'm planting them over there is because, one, the garlic is a great companion plant for tomatoes, and second of all is because my garlic is about 1 month away from being harvested, and all of that space is going to get or is going to become unused. So let's start before the rain comes down. Now next year I intend in planting much more garlic, and I think I will change it into the back area, because for 2 years consecutively I've grown the garlic patch here, and now I'm gonna just do a crop rotation just because it's better for the soil and for the plant that's gonna grow in it. The garlic is planted in rows, and I've planted the tomato plants in between the rows between the garlic, if that makes sense. And wherever they were too close, I've stuck them in such a way that they don't overimpose on each other. Now, no matter if you have a small garden like me, or if you have thousands of acres upon thousands of acres, the importance of succession planting, which means to plant something before you harvest the initial thing, is very good and very important. So plan in advance. Wear a hat when it's hot, but this year is my biggest tomato year since I've started this. I have 263 viable tomato plants that are producing, and then 40 separate ones in a shady place, which I'm trying to determine or to create a shade tolerant tomato plant. Now it's very important to keep these babies watered for the first 3 days. Even in excess, you think it's too much, trust me, it's not going to be too much, because their roots need to expand and start integrating themselves into the larger soil mass that you've put them in. It's very important to have some mulch as well. That helps with water retention, so whatever you can use. Me and my wife harvested the garlic just in time for the tomatoes to explode. All the sunshine and all the water And right now, the even more space that they don't have to compete with anybody is going to do them very well, and I have no doubt that I will get a huge harvest from them. Remember this guy? He used to be like this small, and look at this, 2 weeks later he has flowers. Soon he will have, oh, not soon, now he has fruits. You can see my camera skills are magnificent. The garlic came out, and in its place now I got tomatoes. The tomatoes that together we planted them from suckers with roots into the tiny pots in the previous video, and now each stick is a tomato plant, and most of them already have tomatoes. It's going to be overexposed, and I'm sorry for that. The sun is scorching hot, but I'm just trying to show you that most of them already have fruit, and if not fruit, they have flowers. Okay, let me show you some more fruit. I'm not bragging, it's proof of concept. I was telling you in the first video that you get a big enough sucker. Look at this guy. He's not even big, like tall, I mean, and he has fruit here and here. And then this guy doesn't have fruit yet, I think, but look at the amount of flowers it has. It will soon have maybe a dozen tomatoes just because of the flowers. And now another short one full of fruits. So the reason why I planted 45 is first because I had it. Second of all, I mentioned what I always mention, my slug issues, and that they just devour everything that I plant here. So out of the 45, I have lost a couple of them, but mainly on this row that stays between my sunchokes and my popcorn and the previously garlic space and now tomato space. And you can see the stumps. See this stump? This was or should have been a tomato plant just like this, but it's not. So I've done a quick recap. I'm not going to go everywhere because the sun is too bright and it's going to overexpose. You're not going to see anything, but I've done a quick recap, and everything from that corner one and the tomatoes in the pots up until the back over there, everything is good, healthy, and still standing. The only casualties are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this 4 on this row, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I expect this one to fall as well, just because it's on the cursed row. But still, 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I've lost 4 out of 45. That's good in 2 weeks, and I'm expecting more damage. Hence the number, the huge number. So out of 45, realistically, I expect. Oh, I forgot one garlic. I need to get that garlic from the garlic harvest. Realistically, I expect 20 mature plants to produce like fully. But still, out of 45, if I get 20 mature plants, that's the secret in life. Always have low expectations and high surprise. If I say that out of 45 I'm expecting to have 20, probably in my head I'm expecting to have 15, and this is not manifesting the wrong stuff. I'm just having low expectations, so that instead of 20, when I have 35 surviving and all producing, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. I'm all for dreaming big by having low expectations. Your dreams, your goals have to be huge. That's why I started with 75 tomato varieties, but my expectations were low. So I expected maybe 10 varieties to survive, and maybe, you know, half of their production to be mine, half of their production to be lost. Because of that low expectations, I have probably around 60 varieties who have survived properly, and all of them are on full production. So low expectations, high surprise. Now, why am I here? I'm here to show you that a month ago, when we filmed the video for the main channel of regenerative garden bed weeding and preparing the garden bed for seedlings, I planted here, after we prepped the bed, tomato suckers. So in 1 month, with good fertility in the soil from the rabbit manure, with good watering and mulch, because I always have mulch on top to keep the watering from the rain, or if it's very hot, from the watering that I do. In 1 month, from the seedlings that were this size, I'll put the video here so you guys can see what I planted in 1 month ago. And look here, like I'll run a short video of all of this, just so I don't speak and, you know, give you motion sickness by moving it. Look at what can happen in 1 month. And it was late in the season when I did this. It was the beginning of July, you know. So in just 1 month, at the right time, with the right temperature and the right conditions, these tomatoes are so heavy with fruit that the twine that I keep, you know, tying them with keeps breaking. I ran out of twine about 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately I cannot get any more right now because of pesetas, missing pesetas. So I'm using old, I'm going full grema style. I'm using material from old t-shirts that are so destroyed and beaten up that even donating them is not an option. So I'm just using old material from t-shirts to keep them trellised, because they keep falling. They're so heavy with fruit everywhere. That's it. That's the end of this video. It's only a proof that planting tomatoes late in the right conditions is not a tragedy. If you have issues like I do with the slugs, they keep destroying your crops, and you have backups because you use the suckers of those crops to continuously growing, but so not necessarily suckers. Like for the example, the peppers, I lost 2 generations this year. But instead of planting 20 pepper plants that I needed, I planted 70. So I lost the first 20 peppers, then I lost 20 more, and now I planted them on the 12th or 15th of July or something like that. And I have the best performing peppers until now. They're growing very quickly because they have full sunlight, because they have the water, and because there's full sunlight and it's quite hot. The slugs don't like to stay outside too much, so they don't really destroy that as much as possible. That's all I want to say. Don't despair when things go wrong. Learn from them. Use the past as a teacher, not something that you dwell on, and come up with solutions. Only when we're challenged, only when we have to deal with hardship, do we come up with solutions. Otherwise, a life of comfort, let me put it this way, whatever is easy to do makes your life hard. See you next time. Thank you very much for watching, for subscribing, for clicking the bell, for supporting me in any way you can, for sending me seeds in the PO box and everything else that you've been sending me in the PO box. That's highly appreciated. And for those of you who became my patrons, words cannot do justice how grateful and happy I am for your support. Thank you very much. See you next time.